Hello, this is a screencast to help explain Week 3 in Kindergarten Education's Thematic Unit assignment. I've had some questions about exactly what I might be looking for with the standards and the objectives, so I thought I would create a sample for you to view. I chose the topic seasons. English Language Arts Standard I got from the Common Core Standards at ksde.org, and I found the Reading for Information section because seasons is more of an informative text topic or expository than a narrative. So I went with Reading for Informative, kindergarten grade level, fourth standard. So the standard is, with prompting and support, ask and answer questions about unknown words in a text. Then the ESOL standard that I chose corresponds with that, and it is, I'm trying to think what level I chose here. Oh, it is listening, kindergarten, high beginning, the first standard. And it's demonstrate comprehension of grade level vocabulary within simple questions and academic instruction, supported by repetition, visual and or nonverbal clues. And the discussion I had with a student this morning, if you have taken the Reading and Language Arts Methods course with Dr. Walliser, she has instructed you to relate your English Language Arts standard with your ESOL standard. And that makes perfect sense. I would also like to give you the freedom, though, if you would like to have a fictional group of ESOL language learners that have a specific vocabulary disability, they're low in vocabulary, or possibly their sentences or their phrases are too short, or they don't have the right fluency or emphasis when they're speaking, then you can certainly choose something a little bit different than the English Language Arts standard emphasis. But mine is very much related with the asking questions within simple questions and academic instruction. So let's go to the objectives. My objective 1 for English Language Arts. The students will orally answer 5 questions about fall using 1 correct vocabulary word 4 out of 5 times correctly. And I know in my mind, I also designated the theme that I wanted to use that week. My topic is weather, so then each week I'm going to go with a different theme under that topic. So for this first week I chose fall. The second week then was winter, the third week was spring, the fourth week was summer, and the fifth week was all seasons together. And we would do a kind of a review of all seasons. So the English Language Arts objective for that first, and I kept in mind also that I would like to scaffold my objectives so that they started out at knowledge base but worked their way up to skill base and then reasoning base by the end. The students will orally answer the 5 questions about fall using 1 correct vocabulary word 4 out of 5 times. So I have a system in my mind of how I want to set that up, and that's what's going to be described within your lesson plan. You don't have to designate all of that now. So for ESOL objective number 1, I put the students will identify the correct one-word answer to a question about rain when oops, that's supposed to be fall. I changed my mind on the theme, sorry. When given a choice of 3 vocabulary words, cards with pictures, 4 out of 5 times. So these ESOL learners are going to get a choice of 3 vocabulary words to choose the correct answer. So that is an adaptation. For winter, the students will verbally generate a list of 5 winter vocabulary words in response to a question about winter with 100% accuracy. So they're going to generate a list of 5 winter words in response to a question about winter. So the teacher might ask, what are some activities that you like to do in the wintertime? And they might generate a list of vocabulary such as sledding, skating, building a snowman, making snow angels. So they might have angels, and they're going to have, they can also draw pictures with those cards. Then for the ESOL objective, the students will draw a picture in response to a question about winter. Because remember, our standard says supported by repetition, visual, and or nonverbal cues. So for visual cues, they can draw a picture. So they will draw a picture in response to a question about winter, such as how do people dress in the wintertime? So they will draw a picture of how people dress. After listening to an informative text, scoring 4 out of 6 points on a rubric. The rubric does not have to be attached to these objectives, but when your completed unit is turned in, I would like you to have an appendix of rubrics that you are going to use with this unit. Rubrics are a wonderful way to use as a degree of measurement, for an evaluation tool on your objectives. And for most of these, you could set up a generic rubric for all of your objectives and just maybe tweak it in a couple places for each specific objective. The students will ask the teacher, this is for spring, 2 questions. Now this time the student is asking the teacher because the objectives both, or the standards both said they could ask or answer questions. So the students will ask the teacher 2 questions about spring after listening to an informative text about spring, scoring 4 out of 6 on a rubric. For the ESOL number 3, the students will repeat 2 questions about spring. So they're going to echo you. You're going to create a question with their help, and then they will repeat that question back to you using 2 vocabulary cards given to them, scoring 4 out of 6 on a rubric. For summer, the students will create and ask a question. So now they're creating and asking their questions after looking at a picture of a summer scene. You notice how I've changed the conditions of my objectives, scoring 5 out of 6 on a rubric. Summer ESOL number 4, the students will record themselves asking a question about summer when given a list of summer vocabulary. So they're going to have some vocabulary to rely on for this ESOL objective, scoring 5 out of 6 on a rubric. And the last one being all seasons. This should be one of the higher level skills. The students will orally generate a set of 3 questions about their favorite season when given a set of vocabulary, scoring 5 out of 6 on a rubric. So they will select their favorite season, choose the vocabulary from the previous weeks that we have built on each season, and then they will generate 3 questions about their favorite season. And the ESOL for number 5, the students will correctly answer a question about a season that they choose using 5 or more words in their answer, in their response, scoring 5 out of 6 on a rubric. So to make that more clear, I might put using 5 or more words in their response. You want to give as much information in these objectives as you can without making it too terribly specific so that you can adapt activities to measure these objectives, but specific enough that anyone could walk in, look at your lesson plan, and determine what activities you were using to measure this objective. I hope this will help you in determining what types of objectives to write, how to scaffold them according to ability level, and how to relate them to your topic. Again, this is a rough draft, and I will make comments on this and give the responses back to you so that you can improve the objectives when you turn in your full unit at the end of the semester.